What's going on? Thank you for joining us on another episode of Locked on Bulls. In today's episode, we'll talk about Zach LaVine's bucket list while he's now a max contract player. We'll also talk about Chicago Bulls players playing down in Drew League and why we should not be reading too much into Drew League play. And lastly, we'll do some speculation on if the Bulls should be interested in Kenyon Martin Jr. We'll do all that and more on today's Locked on Bulls.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked on Bulls. Locked on Bulls is a member of the Locked on Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, and we're jumping right in. Pat, Zach LaVine says he has a bucket list of things he wants to accomplish now that he's a max player. And it's not as unrealistic or over the top as I would have expected it to be. First up, it is that he wants to, of course, to continue winning, to continue to go out there and grow his game, to try to lead the team to more wins and go deeper and deeper into the playoffs. That's it. That's what he gave. Pretty realistic set of goals there. Do you think he may be setting those a little too low? Do you think he may be setting them a little too high as now having the largest contract in Chicago Bulls history?
I mean, I think, of course, right, everybody wants to hear him say, we want to win a championship, but, like, I think that's a given, right? Like, if you're playing this game, you probably want to win a championship. So I would say probably setting those goals just right? Because there's a process to this thing. He wants to continue to win. The Bulls struggled at continuing to win at the end of the season. So, like, you have to continue to win to make the playoffs and be one of those teams. When you get into the playoffs, you want to go deeper into the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, like, they're – and you see, like, the funny thing is, like, me and you both are kind of the same way. Like, we'll, like, see something and be like, let's see what Twitter's saying. And, like, all the think pieces that are, like, in the comments underneath it. And it's just like, he's not thinking big enough. And it's the small-mindedness of the game that's taking – it's like, bro, like –
oh, bro, the thing that's funny is to me when people literally see stuff like, see, he's not a max player. A max player would have said they wanted to win 6 titles. Like, come on, fam. This is some random side interview that it didn't even seem like was like, come on, fam.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I'm fine with Zach saying that. I have no problems with it. I love that Zach is, that he feels like he's in a situation where he can continue to win and he can make these playoff runs that are going deeper into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing to take away from it, right? That he's glad to be here and he feels like this is a team that has that ability.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, yes, he signed the biggest contract in Chicago Bulls history. He deserved that. He earned it. And what we've seen through, and I hate that, like, because of the way the last season went, it seems like people forgot what Zach LaVine has been since he came to Chicago. He's improved his game every single season he's been here. He's improved his efficiency. He's added to, he still has things that he needs to work on, right? And for the people who just look at box score and like look at, well, his numbers dropped last season. Yeah, and he played last season hurt for about 40 games out of an 82-game season. So, it is what it is with that one. But Zach LaVine has shown the work ethic. He's shown the desire to continue to get better and grow his game. And then now, we need to see him take it to the next level in some degree, whether it is his game, whether it is being more efficient with scoring, whether it is, show up more in the big times and not make some of those basketball IQ mistakes that he makes at times. But guess what? From what he's shown us as a player, he's damn sure going to be trying to do that on his own next season and increase his game. So,
yeah, 100%. And I think that, right, like when you're looking at, for me, what my expectations are for Zach next season, the thing that I just want to see him do the most is I want to see him. I think there's enough pieces now where I want to see Zach take over a game immediately. Zach's always been the lay low throughout the game guy, and then I'm going to try and get my buckets in the fourth quarter where my team needs them most. I don't think that we need that Zach LaVine this season. I want to see Zach LaVine attacking from the first basket. I want to see Zach LaVine trying to kill somebody from the first basket. And I think that I think if there's an uptick of aggression in Zach early on and not worrying about getting the rest of his team going early, right? Like what we kept saying it last season, right? We got to get Vooch going early. But Vooch was our only piece that could play. Like, it was Vooch and DeMar for most of the season because everybody else was dead and we weren't getting Vooch going early. So I think that was a different scenario in itself. So I just want to see Zach increase the attack, and I think that'll add so much to his game this season. What you think, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, I want to. For me, yeah, I do want to see Zach be more aggressive. I do want to see Zach go for it a little bit more. But we did see it at bits last season, and it got covered up because of course he got the thumb, and then everything else started falling off. But I want to see that Zach LaVine that we saw flashes of that just took over quarters and was just like, all right, you're not going to stop me from scoring this quarter. Yeah, I got 6 points last quarter, but I'm going for 18 points in just this quarter, and stop me if you can. Yeah. And he just gets to work and cooking, and especially with him and DeRozan, like their games. The fact that we went into last season with the national media biggest question is, can Zach and LaVine fit together? And their games flowed so seamlessly together, and it was beautiful basketball to watch. So I do want to see that. I want to see Zach. I want to see and I want to see it happen in the third or fourth quarter where Zach LaVine literally just says, all right, man, listen, I'm going to either score on you or I'm getting to the rim, and either I'm getting a foul or it's about to be a dunk. And if you can stop any of those things, more power to you. I'm about to dunk it off to DeMar. But I want to see Zach do that. I want to see him go out there and be aggressive and be that superstar that he's shown flashes of being and that we know he can be at times.
Now, here's something I'll ask you, right? Because the one thing that we've always said about Zach is that we've seen him give more effort defensively over the last couple of seasons, but he's still not a great defender. He's a career 113 defensive rating. The best he's ever been in his career is a 110 defensive rating.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is your goal defensive rating for Zach LaVine this season?
And it's funny you asked it because I did talk about this over on Chicago Bulls Central. And while this is a huge leap defensive rating wise, I do think that I want to see Zach LaVine get in that he was 113 last season. Yep. I want to see him get to 109. If you that's a huge leap. Let me be clear. That would be one of the hugest leaps in defensive rating that season because people usually don't make that big of a leap. Yep. I want to see him get to 109, even if he can get to 110. If he can get to 109 and be that consistently through the season, to me, that shows that Zach LaVine is way more engaged on that defensive end.
Well, how big is it, right? Because I think we both agree Zach has become a better defender, but last season trying to defend while limping around the court and trying to be involved offensively, something was going to take a hit.
Yeah,
his defense wasn't nearly as bad in the beginning of the season.
Exactly. And playing next to Lonzo Ball, who the way that Lonzo communicates on defense helps Zach out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this team was, I think a lot of people forget, right? This team was like the third best defensive team in the NBA for the first 30-something games. It was Golden State, Miami, and then us.
Yeah.
Maybe Phoenix. I don't know. Was Phoenix in there?
I don't think so. I don't remember. But we did have a great defensive rating to start as a team to start.
Yeah. So I mean, like the defense on this team wasn't.
And that was without Patrick Williams as well in that starting lineup. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, the defense on this team wasn't bad. I think there's a lot of people that are just like, this team can't defend. This team was only able to score, and they have to be able to get. And it's like, no, this team was a really good defensive team. They only played bad teams. Bad teams score a lot of points too.
Yeah, but the thing is, to me, is that I think people forget or just don't understand that having a communicator like Lonzo Ball out there, like Lonzo is literally reading what the other offense is doing and telling his players, like, hey, this was basically go here, go there. This is what because not only is Lonzo all around the court himself, he talks very loudly and communicates with this team. And then, like I said, that was without having a nice defensive piece of Patrick Williams out there as well. That's why getting this team healthy is so important. And if this team can get fully healthy, stay fully healthy for the majority of the season and the playoffs, you're going to see a completely different team in the playoffs than what you did last season. And then we're also adding one of the best defensive players per rating in the last decade in Andre Drummond to this team as well, coming off the bench to keep up that defensive intensity.
The funny thing about it, too, is it's like every player you're talking about that's going to help the defense also helps your offense dramatically. So
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like
that's what I said. Like as much as they didn't make the huge upgrades that they did, if this team can all come together, having Patrick Williams there for a full season, Lonzo there for a full season, and now Andre Drummond that pair with great defensive players in Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso as well coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Just be on the lookout for this team to shock some people. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to leave it at that one, man. And that's it for the first segment today. Next up, we're going to talk about Bulls players playing in the Drew League, and some of you guys need to chill. But before we do that, I got to talk to you guys about Built Bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. You ready for it? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite, cookie dough chunk puffs. They have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All the joys of eating of cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories and have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It would be the perfect treat, or you can finally find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourselves. Like our Built Bars, the new cookie dough chocolate puffs is covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture. So good. You're going to love them. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puffs, whether you need a snack for your workout or a late night treat or just need to grab a quick bite. Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built Bar. Go to Built.com right now. Use the promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order at Built.com. All right. Woo! Hey, man, when's the last time you did an ad, my brother? Like
It's been a while.
I know, man. I know. But with that being said, man, there's been several players to play at the Drew League over the course of the last time that we recorded, which was just a couple days ago. DeMar, of course, because he's always at the Drew League, playing at the Drew on his birthday, no less. Keep that in mind. That man just lives and breathes basketball. Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams all played in the Drew League over the course of the weekend. Patrick Williams scored 14 points. We got to see some things from him. He did miss a dunk, which the think pieces on that missed dunk. What do you make of Bulls players playing in the Drew League, brother?
I like it. Yeah, I mean, I like that, they're getting this work in early. I think a lot of people fear it because they say, you'll be more tired towards the end of the season because you've been playing basketball all off season. There's a lot going in. Of course, right? Like, there's some people that think it's a lose-lose situation because if you play great, people expected you to play great because you're in the NBA. But if you get beat, now you're a terrible player because you got beat by people that aren't in the NBA. So there's some people that view it that way. For me, I'm glad that these guys enjoy being with each other enough to play together, to want to play together in the off season, to want to just be around each other, right? We saw that with the 5-on-5s. We've seen that with the Drew League. Those things are good to see, and the fact that you're seeing P. Will and DeMar DeRozan spend time together, right? All we're hoping for is a little bit of that DeMar mentality to rub off on P. Will. That's all we're hoping for there.
Yeah. And then the couple of videos that we got from P. Will, the handle looks tight.
How deep's that bag?
The handle looks tight, my guy. Like, shout out to Patrick Williams for like dribbling that. I had no idea Patrick could dribble that way. None. And that may be honestly, that may be from playing with DeMar or something. Like, he's been under, like, I don't know, bro. Like, hey, listen. If he just added to his game this summer, regardless if it's been there, if he just added it, I need to see some of that in the game, my guy. That's what I need to see.
It was the cross left behind the back to get back right. I was like, wait a minute now, hold on,
bro.
And you got to think about it. His hands are huge.
Exactly.
So he's basically just throwing the ball to himself.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like he should have this handle, but like seeing it is just it was pretty interesting. But again, right? It's like you said, God, we can't read this deep into Drew League, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Drew League that translates to the NBA, except these guys were still playing basketball. Like, you have to think about it, right? We almost enjoyed a half a season of Denzel Valentine after he got cooked by Frank Nitti. It wasn't until he dropped that terrible album that his game fell off the face of the earth. Like, he was almost a decent player for half of that season.
Bro.
All up until Stacey King went, oh no.
That is hilarious, bro. Like, but Denzel Valentine aside, man. Like, I'm trying not to go. See, I go into PTSD and you talk about me. You bring up Gums McGee himself, and now when I go into PTSD, it'll be my fault. So I'm trying to ignore.
I'm bringing up him getting cooked in Drew League, though. It's a whole different situation.
I mean, yeah, but that was. Do you know, as a Bulls fan, how much I got that video? Like, hey man, this your guy. He's getting cooked.
Hey, bro. Absolutely got that video.
Bro, man, I wasn't even a Bulls content creator at that time. I got that video so much, man. I was overseeing it. But the thing, I'm just happy Patrick Williams is taking some of DeMar's work ethic. We've talked about it. I said at the beginning of this, DeMar DeRozan lives, breathes, and the other word I can't say on the show, basketball. That's it. That's what he does. Like, you get that from him. Lives, breathes, eats, and then think about the next word. We'll talk about it after the show.
I'm just putting the words together, and I'm just like, wow, I've never heard that one added into it. Like, I've heard eats, breathes, and sleeps basketball, but he's doing that with the basketball too, huh? Basketball Jones in this one.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is. A basketball Jones. Oh, bro, I used to love that song. With that being said, though, what about Dalen Terry as well at Drew League, bro? And the thing I get from Dalen Terry, bro, is that man could probably play his mama in basketball, and he would talk crap to his mother and cross his mother up and just be like, oh, well, you got to get better ankles, mama.
Hey, listen, I love it. I love the mentality. And again, right, like I talked about coming into this, that I want that glue guy. Listen, these young guys are coming in with a completely different mentality now. But I want that glue guy. I want that guy that has the aggression. I want that guy that's going to attack you. I want that guy that's going to look at you and say, you're not going to push my team around. We're not doing this. We didn't have that guy. Now we have, in my opinion, right, Dalen Terry, a rookie. I don't want him to get too out of body. We don't need another Paolo Banchero running around here. But
bro. Somebody need to Paolo gonna get humbled in the NBA real quick.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Right, humble him, but he's really freaking good.
I mean, this is true. It's like, let's be clear. He could be a great scorer, but on that defensive end, he needs a little work.
He ain't worried about it. He's got that. He got that mellow mentality. They don't pay me for my defense. So I mean, like, listen, they pay.
Hey, Jabari Parker. There's only been 2 players in the history of the NBA to get paid for their defense. Bro, I was like, you're not doing yourself no favors with that, my guy. Like, come on. But I'm sorry, CPTSD. It started and now we're here. Keep going, bro.
Here we go. But no, I think you went from having 0 guys, right? Like, you always think back. For me, I always think back to the Caruso you did, or even Ja Morant getting spicy with the Bulls, which kind of was more on Tony Bradley.
I was going to say, Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley didn't back down. He just got carried away.
But you know what, right? Like, even stuff like that, right? Like, there was nobody that really ran up. Like, oh, we gonna, like, I'm here for this energy. And I think you don't want too many people like that, because that's how you end up swinging on somebody, and we don't want people suspended. But you do want to have somebody that's like, hey, listen, you're not just gonna push my guys around. That, like, we're not doing that right here. We can have a conversation at half court, it's whatever. So I think that now you went from that to Dalen Terry and Andre Drummond both being guys that are willing to be like that. Those are good things to have on your team, because it's that bonding agent that brings everybody together. And I think you add that with the fact that, like I said, this team really seems to like each other.
Yeah.
Like, you got the makings of a winning team here. Oh, and they're talented, right? Like, there's a lot of people that like each other, but they suck. But like, exactly. And they're talented.
It also looks like, if you look at Dalen Terry from draft night to Dalen Terry in this Drew game, it looks like he's put on some considerable muscle too in like a month, bro. Like, I don't know if he's just been hitting the gym hard, getting ready for the NBA. If maybe they told him, hey, you played some point guard in college, but we see you more as a 2-3, so you need to bulk up a little bit. But Dalen Terry looks like he's put on probably about 5 to 8 pounds of muscle since he was drafted.
I wouldn't be surprised by it. Yeah, I mean, he's been. You got to think he's been going nonstop since he's been drafted. He
Yeah.
pretty much immediately flew out to Vegas. Well, he started working out here and then immediately flew out to Vegas. Played summer league, left summer league, flew to the workouts.
Yeah.
Played in the workouts, left the workouts, flew to Drew League. Played in the no, Drew League's out west, so he probably just stayed out there. So.
Yeah, everybody was out there, so they was like, "Hey, we might as well just go ahead and hop in
Drew League." You know what I mean? So like, you think about that, and he's probably had an off season of nonstop work, and that's what I love. That's what I love about this kid, man. He's not shying away from the work. I ain't gonna lie to you. Haven't seen Justin Lewis in a while. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
nothing's taken away from any of my hopes.
He is on the so he's locked in, and he may just be down there working with the Windy City Bulls. Like he may be there with the coaching staff. They're just getting ready for the G League season because he's going to start off in the G League. So he just may be
that's true.
So shout out to the Bulls player playing down there in the Drew League. But we're gonna get into our last topic for the day. Now, apparently, the Rockets are shopping Kenyon Martin Jr. Pat, would you be interested at all? Does that do anything for you? Kenyon Martin Jr., does that interest you at all? Should the Chicago Bulls be taking a look, especially considering they may or may not be looking to deal Kobe White at some point?
I'm always interested in you taking a look at guys, right? And I think AK is a very his due diligence guy, right? We heard that they called on KD. Listen, I was throwing meathead picks out there. Yeah, I mean, I was throwing the Bulls homer. Hey, let's make this, and the Bulls can get them, and we couldn't. But yeah, I mean, but AK did his due diligence on it, and for me, right, you call on anybody that's available that you feel can help your team. Does Kenyon Martin Jr. help your team? That's the question on the table. I think he does. I think he's got a lot of talent. I'm not sure why the Rockets are moving on for the Rockets are kind of like, you're talented. We don't want you right now. Like that. Like that's how it feels. It's weird.
Is who's the GM of Houston Rockets right now?
I don't know. It's not what's his name no more. So I forgot after that. Let's see. Rockets.
Raphael Stone. Don't even know who that is. Shout out to that.
All right.
Getting checks. Yeah. But this still does feel like a 76ers type move. Like, I get it. Yeah, he hasn't shown anything, but when you look at the raw numbers for him as a player in the role that he is aren't that bad. 8.8 points per game, 3.8 rebounds per game, 1.3 assists per game. He shoots the ball from three-point range at a 35% clip, 36% for his career, and it was over 50% from the field last season.
Yeah.
And, being only 21, 6'5", 215 pounds, I'm not saying that you can turn him into a star or anything, but at least has the numbers that show that he may be able to be a heck of a bench player for you.
Well, and that's the thing, right? And he just doesn't. The thing is, right, that came out this weekend is that there's no animosity between the two sides. And the reason that Kenyon Martin Jr. asked for a trade is because he just doesn't see himself getting a ton of minutes after the draft, right? He kind of recognizes the direction that the Rockets are going. I guess if you're going to do it, right, I'm fine with it because I think Kenyon Martin Jr. does address a need the Bulls have, right? We need shooting. He's a pretty good shooter, shoots above 50% from the field, I think. And coming off of your bench, you would like that size as well. What kind of package are we putting together to go get a Kenyon Martin Jr.?
That's the question, right? Because even if it comes to giving up Kobe, like somebody suggested Kobe White for Kenyon Martin trading, my thing is it doesn't get you. That's
it kind of gets you worse. It's just
like what are you getting? Different. It's just different. Like, that's the thing that a lot of fans do offer in these trade scenarios. So, like, in my opinion, honestly, bro, if they would, and that's adding another guard, because I'll say if they're willing to take Tony Bradley as like a contract swap, because Tony, like, I for one can't think of a package that, like, not that I wouldn't mind having Kenyon Martin Jr. on this team, to, like, just looking at what he can give, but like once you start talking about what we're going to give up for him, it's like any piece that you would give up for him, I kind of like more, right? Dalen Terry's contract fits. Nope, don't want it. Definitely not doing that. Tony Bradley, they're probably not doing that. Or if they did, they would want more of a draft capital, right? They'd want like at least a second round pick or something. I'm not trying to give up any more draft capital. So like, I don't see any realistic trade from the Bulls from the financial standpoint that would work for both sides that would bring them in.
The deal that I saw that was proposed on the table that somebody came up with, and it's not a bad one, but to me it doesn't address any of the Bulls' needs or any of Houston's needs. And to me, right, like trades are fun to talk about, but sometimes you're just making moves to make moves, or just talking about making moves to make moves. This one says Bulls get Kenyon Martin Jr., David Nwaba, and a 2024 second round pick. Rockets get Kobe White in the 2025 second round pick.
See, that's the thing. Like, okay, what does that trade really do for you? What is that? What has that really done for you in the long run? Like,
you got another Javonte Green. David Nwaba
and David Nwaba, when he was here, I really wanted the Bulls to keep him when he was here.
I liked some David Nwaba.
Exactly, but at this point, it's like that trade doesn't do anything. So it's just like, okay, I don't know, bro.
It's one of those, right? I'm not mad at getting him, but I don't see this massive upside. Yeah. I see more upside from Kobe White than I do from Kenyon Martin Jr.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. I mean, like, again, and I'm not. That's not to say I'm down on the player as a whole. It's just like the idea of him coming to the Bulls is just like, hey, man, all right, like you got to trade, and I don't find a trade that's worth it to me. At that point, you might as well just keep what you have.
Yeah. Yeah,
in my opinion. So
let's switch gears a bit because we can't talk about that for too long. Did you have any thoughts on the fact that Dragic was not, or the Bulls did not want to allow Dragic to play in FIBA, even though we've seen a lot of Bulls players playing in the Drew League and stuff like that?
I mean, the way that I look at that is this, bro. I will say there is the fact that they're letting play in the Drew League, but I just look at it as this is a team that's been completely ravaged with injuries over the last year, and that they just want to have everybody as healthy as possible. That's the way that I look at it, bro. Like, but I do say that there is there something hypocritical about it, the fact that Bulls players are playing in the Drew? Absolutely. I'm not denying that at all, but if you're asking me the question on what do I read into it, I just read into it them saying, hey man, listen, you're the insurance. Yeah. So we definitely don't want you getting hurt.
I thought of it as the old N'Keal Harry out here. I thought it as like AK's preached a lot about continuity. And you've seen a lot of guys that are on this team come together and play together and stuff like that. And I thought this probably was a thing of which we want you to play with these guys and get to know these guys and come hang out with these guys so that you can build that camaraderie, right? Because Vooch is playing, Marco's playing. Now, granted, right, maybe the Bulls had a problem with them playing as well, and that just didn't come out.
Yeah, that could be some.
So it could be that as well. But I'm thinking it's more of you don't actually know any of your teammates yet. Yeah. Like you haven't met these guys, you haven't worked with these guys, you haven't done anything with these guys. You've literally been overseas the entire time. We would love to get you in here and love to get you working with them. Now I'm sure
that's probably
have met, but no, DeMar and Dragic have been teammates.
No, there was no overlap there, was it?
Has Dragic had 2 stints in Toronto?
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So on that?
Yeah, they would be familiar. Like we don't know how close they are, of course, but yeah, they would definitely have overlapped.
That's why Dragic wants to play overseas. Yeah. They hate each other.
Oh man,
that's a joke. Don't take that and run with it.
Please don't.
There's not much going on with news here, so you got to watch what you say.
Oh no. So yeah, they wouldn't have overlapped. Dragic only played in Toronto 2021-22.
I thought he had another season there. Okay.
No, I think you're thinking about Phoenix. He left Phoenix and then went back to. That's the only team he played for.
Did go back to Phoenix. Okay. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm tweaking. But yeah. So then he's literally met none of his teammates.
I mean, they're NBA. They all know each other to a degree, but
right. Yeah. I mean, but like, I think that's probably more so we're trying to build up this continuity. You don't know if you like these mugs yet.
True. Yeah, I mean, but that's all that I read into that. It is what it is. He's gonna play, and I'm excited to watch Eurobasket because we get to see Marco, we get to see Vooch, we get to see Gorn, and we'll see what happens.
I'm with you, dog. I'm with you for sure. When do they air that? Is that like we got to be up at like 2:00 in the morning to watch?
Probably.
I'll watch that on the flip side. I'm not staying up for FIBA basketball. I ain't gonna lie to you. That. I usually only tune in for like the last 3 games.
So the tournament, it starts September 1st to September 18th.
Oh, it's football season. I'm probably not even gonna tune in a little bit. I'm gonna catch that full game recap.
I'll be tuning in. But all right, Pat, go ahead and send us home, brother.
Hey man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Make sure you follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Appreciate you guys for pulling up and showing so much love, man.
Yep, you can follow me at CEO Haize, the CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go and check it on Locked On NBA, where the Locked On experts break down all the latest news, rumors, and developments going around the NBA in 30 minutes or less. You can get them wherever you get your podcast. But that is it for us for today. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls, and we out this mug. Peace, y'all.